so Chris Shoemaker from Cavelo, one of my favorite vendor partners. You guys have such fun marketing. Your team does such a good job. Will be presenting. So we are going to give you the stage, Chris.
Great. Thank you very much. All right. So what are we talking about today? Well, initial statement here is if you can't see it, you can't protect it, right? So what we realized was that vulnerability management in the MSP world is broken, right? Vulnerability management, just looking for CVEs and vulnerabilities, gone are those days. We really don't get points, if you will, for just blindly patching. It all needs to be understood and contextualized and prioritized appropriately. So we've been there and done that. As an organization, we have a core competency of vulnerability management. We've done it before and sold it off to a large MDR provider. We took the learnings from that and we realized that vulnerability alone is really not enough, right? So what MSPs really require is a holistic view of their customer's attack surface, right? Because things have changed along the way. And they really need to understand how best to prioritize their decision-making in relation to their vulnerability management practice and what they're patching and why they're patching it and in what order they should be doing it all, right? So what does this all mean for you guys? Well, it means that vulnerability management has moved on, right? Think of today's vulnerability management as version 2.0, or really attack surface management is kind of what people are calling it today, right? And we need to empower MSPs to understand and identify and reduce their customers' cyber risk in the landscape that they live in today. So we took our learnings from our previous vulnerability management exit and said, well, what else do we need to be doing and looking at in order to prioritize and contextualize things for our MSP partners? And what do MSPs need, right? They need efficient, cost-effective solutions that drive cybersecurity outcomes for their customer, and more importantly, drive revenue for their business as an MSP, right? So what are they trying to do? Well, they're trying to increase recurring revenue, create operational efficiency to drive more to the bottom line, and lower churn and increase stickiness with their customers. And that's what Cavelo is really trying to do with our platform. So what is our platform? Well, from day one, it was designed to be multi-tenancy, to go through the channel. We only go to market through the channel, right? It's a modular platform so that you can a la carte pick and choose the features and functionality that we offer. It's very simple to deploy, administrate, and manage because there's no hardware scanning appliances that have to be shipped to client sites. And we have created an AI-powered recommendation engine in order to reduce the amount of research that your teams need to do in order to make good decisions about what needs to be done. So the platform is really made up of 4 key modular pillars, and it starts with asset discovery. So the goal here is to shine a light in the dark, scary corners in any client environment to make sure that we're seeing all of the devices that we need to in the platform in order to do the rest of what the platform is supposed to do. And that is traditional vulnerability management scanning. And we do this in a way that is particularly efficient because we realize that all the licensable scanning engines that are on the market today are not flexible enough, have too large an installation footprint, use too much resources on the devices that they're installed upon. So we wrote our own engine. Again, this is a core competency of us, and we wanted to have the flexibility to present more information in a way that can be better digested and easily actionable. So vulnerability management scanning after asset discovery. Then we will do data discovery and classification. And this is a way for us to see in any customer environment everything that could be prioritized as important, sensitive data for the customer. And then we classify that as PII types. We also ingest IBM's cost of breach research so that we can use today's market de facto understanding of dollars and cents liability to apply a risk and liability understanding weighted as dollars and cents so that you can have a discussion with your customer about real world understanding. You're no longer having a technology conversation, You're having a business risk and liability conversation, which they understand. And we can also use that as an additional lens to weight and prioritize decision-making, because of course you want to protect the machines that are delineated as the most important, because they hold the most important things in your customer's environment from a security standpoint. And then we also do identity access management. We can identify in your customer's environment which users in that environment have access to, through the permissioning that they have been granted, the things that we have first identified as private, sensitive, and important. Very big deal. So you can sort of draw that thread from discovering the important assets, to understanding how they're vulnerable, to understanding what lives on those devices that your customer will prioritize as important, to who's got access to those devices and what have they been doing with those, with the access they've got over time. Very important stuff. All of this is backed by a policy and alerting framework, so that you can create if this then that statements like, should any of the salespeople on their laptops ever have credit card information found on those devices? And if there is credit card information found on those devices, alert A, B, and C in order to have that remediated and addressed. Very powerful stuff. We integrate with all the PSA systems and RMM tools that you can imagine in the channel ecosystem to make your life easy, and package up the important filtered information to make any remediation tasks dead simple. So to date, there's almost $3 billion worth of end customer liability already being discovered, classified, and monitored by MSPs just like you using Cavelo. This is kind of a big deal, because this gives weight, if you will, to the success of what we're doing for our MSP partners. And you can see some of the testimonials below by some organizations involved in things like compliancy, looking at CMMC as a for instance, and trying to upgrade and increase their security practice with a left of boom tool. That is where we live, right? We are left of boom in the proactive remediation space, not in the right of boom reactive space. So,
hey, Chris, yeah. I forgot to bell you to give you a warning, so maybe about 30 seconds.
You got it. Last thing here is many of our partners came to us and said, most of our customers want to turn on Copilot and we're panicking because we don't have any way to deal with that. Well, we even launched a Copilot readiness report because of all the things that we scan for. We can provide an easy fingerprint understanding for MSPs to have intelligent conversations about what Copilot would mean if turned on in those customer environments. So come talk to us about that. If you would like to know more, hit me at this email or go to the channel program website, look at our profile, and contact us through that way. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.